Hi, my name's Chris. Welcome to Pillow Yoga Club. I'm going to be taking you through a super chill yin flow. You might want to grab a blanket or a towel, maybe to pop under your knees for certain postures, and make sure you're nice and comfy and warm. Any other yoga props you can have them to hand as well. So we're going to start in a toe squat. I promise it will get nice and chilled after that. So if you come to sit on your bum and make sure all of your toes are tucked under, especially your little toe. Now this might feel a bit hard for some people, but I promise you if you're moving slowly and calmly, it's fine. It's going to release all of the energy channels in your body, releasing the chi, and it's just a bit of discomfort that you can try and get through if it does feel awful. To try and distract you, close down the eyes, maybe place one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. So instead of concentrating on any discomfort you're feeling in your feet, connect in with your heartbeat, connect in with your breath flow. Relax the shoulders, relax all the muscles of the face. Using your feet every day, this is just giving them that little bit of love that they need. We're not going to be here too long. See if you can really focus on the breath out. As you breathe out, can you relax your jaw? Relax your throat and your breathing mechanism. Feel grounded. Connect in with the body. Where are you feeling tension? Are you wanting to get out of this posture? Can you stay till the next breath? As I said, it's going to get lovely and chill soon. We're just going to open up those energy channels. For as much of the practice as possible, try and keep the eyes closed. And if my voice starts to annoy you, focus on the music, focus on the sensations in your body. And I'll give you loads of other tips as we go through that might help you just switch off a little bit. Just going to be here for a few more breaths. If you need to come forward out of the posture, that's fine. One last breath here. Releasing into all fours, maybe giving the toes a little tap, maybe a little circle of the ankles. The foot has gone back to normal, you haven't damaged anything. And then in all fours, just going through a few really easy cat-cow movements. So you're not trying to warm up the body at all, actually the opposite, trying to hypnotize it. If you can keep the eyes closed, amazing, and focus on the breath. The movement's super simple, you don't need to worry about that. Just a couple more. Can you relax the facial muscles, the shoulders? And then we're going to bring the knees together again, but this time the feet are going to be flat. So we're going to come to stretch into the ankle as well. So again, we don't often get that flexion of the toes, and we don't often get that stretch in the ankle, even though we're on our feet all the time. It might be enough for you just to lean back, and you're already getting some action there in the foot. If you can also lift the knees, amazing. You can also take this into a bit of a balance where you hold on to the knees. As I said, if you want to have the hands down, that's absolutely fine. And if you need a towel or a blanket underneath the feet. Again, you're in a position that might feel weird to you or new. Could you close the eyes down? Could you focus in on just the breath? We're not going to be in these first few postures for too long. Once we get further into the practice, it's going to feel much easier, much more simple to relax. Just a few more breaths here. Maybe you want to increase the breath if you're feeling a bit tense with your breathing mechanisms. And lovely, slowly release, going back to that all fours position again. And going through the simplest, easiest cat-cow you've ever done. If you want to take this into a bit of free movement, go for it. See if you can let the body take you and you're just the passenger. Every time the mind wanders outside of the practice, just invite it back. Back to the breath, back to what you feel in your body or any of your senses. Lovely. From here, you're going to sink into your cow pose. So really let your rib cage be super heavy. Think of the bum floating up to the ceiling. Keeping your bum in line with your knees, reaching the arms forward, and then letting the heart literally melt down towards the floor. If it's comfortable to you to have the forehead down or maybe the chin, don't push it too much. It's not like we're trying to stretch or increase mobility. We're trying to relax the muscles here and yin. From here, you could also bring the elbows down, palms together, and reach the thumb towards the top of the back. That will then go into your triceps as well. But if the posture is already feeling like a lot, make it easier. You could even have a prop in between your forehead and the floor. You might feel your shoulders are trying to hold on or protect you here. You don't need protecting. There's nothing that can happen. See if on your next few breaths out, you can really let your heart melt into the floor. The bum is floating up towards the ceiling. See if you can focus on the breath that's just coming easily in and out through the nose. You could also do a body scan. So at the moment I can feel I'm holding tension in my feet. Can I let that go on my next breath? And if all else fails, what can you hear? What's the music? Maybe you can smell what the room smells like, or the touch of your clothes on your body. All of your present senses are going to keep you in the present moment, the only place that you ever can be. Just a few more deep breaths here. Could you let go of that tension on the last few breaths? And lovely, slowly bringing it back in. Take your time, however feels easy for you. Try and stay nice and sleepy. Any free movement that feels good. Now we're back in all fours, or just a simple cat-cow. Lovely. From here, we're going to tuck the toes under. And I really want you to go into the easiest down dog you've ever done. So pushing up with the bum. Maybe it feels nice to do a little pedal of the feet. Maybe you just want to really soften into both of the legs. As I said, the simplest, easiest down dog you've ever done. Maybe let the head have a shake. So obviously there's an effort level here. But can you bring that down to no more than 60%? Think of the heels being heavy, the bum again floating up to the ceiling, but without effort. Any tension in the head or neck, just let that shake off. Don't worry what the posture looks like at all. 3 last breaths here, focusing on one area in your body that you feel like you're holding tension. See if you can let it go 1%. Lovely. Then keeping that really low effort level, you're going to walk the feet in towards the hands, hands in towards the feet. We're going to come to dangling, exactly as it sounds. Let everything dangle. It's not a forward fold. You're not trying to increase flexibility in the hamstrings. You're just letting everything release. So I've got a nice bend in the knees. If you're a bit more flexible, maybe you can stretch the legs, but it's not what we're trying to do. It might feel nice to reach the arms behind you. Think of the head being heavy. Maybe the weight goes slightly further forward onto the balls of the feet. Or if you've been at a desk all day, maybe it will feel nice to pop the hands underneath the feet, palms facing up.
Might be here a little bit longer than you're used to. Make it easier if you need to. That burn that you might be feeling in the muscles in your leg or your bum, very normal. This is going to help our later postures feel even easier, even more relaxing. Every time the mind wanders, again, bring it back to the breath, the physical sensations in your body, or simply listen to the music. Five or six last breaths here. You don't need to increase the flexibility at the end. It's all about relaxing, softening. And lovely. Any binds that you have or any positions of the hands, just let them release, have a little shake. And then coming down through back into all fours. If you feel like you need to do a little bit of movement there, go for it. Maybe in the shoulders, maybe the head wants to have a little bit of movement, or the lower spine. From here, we're going to come to a wide knee child's pose. So taking the knees maybe about the width of your mat, big toes together. We're going to be in these postures now for a little bit more time. So if you want to put a blanket or a towel underneath you, go for it. Reaching the arms in front, make sure you've got a good enough width with the hands. So I always go just a little bit less wide than the knees. So once you've reached forward, maybe having your forehead down on the mat, you've now done all of the effort level. So in a normal yoga practice, you might be really reaching the fingertips. But once you've got here, relax the fingertips, the wrists, the forearms, the elbows. Think of the armpits almost breathing into the floor. So this posture's main focus is your inside thighs, kind of area that we don't really spend too long relaxing, but can hold lots of tension. Remembering those little tips that can help you. So the breath, even though it might be boring, following the breath might be really boring, but boring is better than stressed. Whatever that sort of recurring thought might be in your head today, thinking about it one more time is probably not going to solve it. Giving yourself time away from that mind game might give you more clarity. So it's always just worth to try every time the mind wanders, bring it back to this present moment. Focusing on the exhalation will help calm you. You can also think about equalizing the breath, or letting the breath be super shallow. So that can sometimes sound not very sort of exercise or yoga based, but a really shallow breath is what you do when you're in your deep sleep state. And that's what we want. We want to relax the muscles so we can get into the fascia. That interconnective tissue that runs all through your body and that stores that stress and that ability to let our body move how it's meant to. Where are you holding on to tension? Could you let go of any stress in the shoulders or the rib cage? Could your belly be a bit more relaxed and soft? Gonna have about 1 more minute or so here. You might feel the urge to move or release from the posture, and that's absolutely fine. Doesn't mean that you're bad at this. But there is always that option of taking it to the next breath. That's all it ever is. It can feel like quite a big win at the end of a practice when you just stayed in that posture. You chose stillness over agitation or movement. And the real advanced yoga is not the handstands or the balancing postures. It's being able to be still, still of the mind and still of the body. And if they both happen at the same time, that's pretty close to bliss. Three last breaths here. Maybe you want to sigh out the breath at the end. Might feel like you can let go of some stress that you might be holding on to, some anxiety. And then when you're ready, gently bringing the arms back in towards you. Try and stay in that sleepy, dozy state. Coming back one last time through that all fours. Maybe it feels nice to move intuitively. Maybe the rib cage, the lower back, maybe the head wants to do a few circles. Keeping the eyes closed as much as you can. And then when you're ready, you're going to walk your knees towards your wrists, crossing the legs behind you to sit on your bum. Don't worry if you've missed that, we're basically just sitting on our bum with our legs in front eventually. So coming to find our caterpillar pose. So if this is super simple for you, go ahead and just relax forward. You might need a little bit of assistance here. So if you have a block or a couple of books, they might feel good to have underneath your bum. So if you're quite tight in the hips, that's going to help you hinge from the hip. The only thing you really want to avoid is sitting into the lower back. We want to, maybe for you today, it's just about sitting up, letting the legs feel super relaxed. So there's no flexion in the legs, there's no kind of activation. And maybe it's just you dropping the head today that works for you. You can have a little softness in the knees. But yeah, I'm kind of just allowing my body to relax forward, keeping the belly soft, the shoulders nice and heavy. So the area we're mainly targeting here is the hamstrings, but we're not coming at it from a dynamic stretch point of view. We're trying to soften the muscles. It can help sometimes to let the mouth just open slightly so you can release all tension from your jaw. And as I said, the aim here is not flexibility. It's not to get your head to your knees. It's not to get your head to your feet. Sometimes it can feel good if you do think you're rounding into your lower back. I like to imagine there's a wall behind me that's just been painted. So you're not going to let the paint go on you. It's just that slight feeling of folding forwards. See if you can connect in with stillness. And I'm going to be quiet for about the next minute and a half. It's going to give you a little bit of time just to focus in on maybe the music, your breath, without my instructions. About 30 more seconds here. You don't need to increase the posture, just increase your focus, whether that's breath, listening to the music, scanning through the body. As I said, this posture isn't going to probably make a massive difference to your hamstring flexibility. You're not going to become, a dancer overnight or an Olympic hurdler. But you do have the opportunity to just focus in on what's actually happening right now. That can be huge, that can be bigger than what you think you can achieve physically. Three last breaths, maybe a nice big sigh out. Maybe a little shake on the last breath. And lovely, just slowly walking yourself back up. Again, trying to keep the eyes closed as much as possible. It might feel nice to do a little bit of movement with the shoulders or a little twist. We're going to be coming to lie down now for the rest of the practice in our postures. So if you wanted to put a blanket behind you for your head, go for it. So we're going to come to a butterfly position. So bringing the soles of the feet together. And I always encourage quite a big diamond shape. So when we bring the feet really close, the hips tend to clench up and then the lower back doesn't work properly. So give yourself a really nice big diamond shape. We are going to lie down and that shape might change when we go to lie down. Also going to encourage you with your arms to do cactus. So this is where your elbows are in line with your shoulders, palms facing up. This will just help open up your shoulders and your chest. If this feels too much, you can stretch the arms over the top of your head in a high V. If you feel like that connection we kind of started with at the beginning, hand on the heart, hand on the belly, just to get in with that present moment feeling. So taking your time to lie yourself down, maybe putting something underneath the back of your head and relaxing the arms in cactus. If already you're feeling that that cactus is too much, then change it. You don't want to be feeling that tension the whole way through. So this posture is mainly for our hips, but we are not trying to push the knees open. The aim is not to get the knees to touch the floor. It's about that softness and space that we want to create in the hips. If you need to put a block or some books underneath each knee, go for it. This might feel really subtle at the beginning, and then after a couple of minutes, it may feel very tense, and you can totally move. If you need to stretch the legs, go for it. If you need to give any movement. The flip side of that is, again, stillness. Could you take it to the next breath without moving? Moving all the time throughout the day, everything. Our phones, our computers, transport, everything is moving, moving, moving. The power that you can find in just a few minutes of absolute stillness of the body, and then maybe you're lucky enough to get those few moments where there's the connection in with the mind. Soften all the muscles in your forehead, your eyelids, in between the eyebrows. Imagine your jaw softening, your throat feeling more spacious. And the next few breaths out, softness in the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists. Maybe you've been feeling a little bit of anxiety. And on the next few breaths, even if you can't pinpoint what that is, you can imagine it floating away from your ribcage. Within these moments of stillness, we can often get memories and emotions and thoughts that pop up. Your job is not to analyze them, just let them go as easily as they came. Maybe imagine whatever that anxiety is evaporating from your body. So the front of your body feels light and is on an upward trajectory. And your back of your body feels grounded, heavy, melting into the floor Maybe the floor you imagine being soft grass or a beach, thick duvet or a cloud. I'm going to give you a little bit of time without me talking here so you can really focus in whatever discipline that you're working on. Going to do about 1 more minute here. Again, if you need to move, that's fine. You haven't failed at this. Focus now all of your breath to your hips, allowing that space to feel more spacious. The hips are often called the junkyard of our emotions. You might feel random thoughts or memories again. Don't analyze it, don't waste any of your energy trying to work it out. Instead, just allow it to release just the same. Every breath out, letting go of the physicality, the energy, the emotion. Three last breaths here. Melting into the floor with your heaviness. Lovely. Slowly taking your time to release the arms, maybe even using the arms to help bring the knees back together. You will feel normal again if it feels very tense. Just giving the knees a nice big hug in towards you. Maybe a little rock side to side. Maybe just letting the head fall side to side. Try to resist the urge to kind of be a bit more physical. Keep it super soft, super relaxed. It's going to really help in this last couple of postures. So from here we're going to go to a twist towards the right. Any variation of a twist that works for you. So I'm going to set it up just by having the legs in tabletop and then just letting the knees fall over towards the right hand side. Both arms may be out to the side in line with your shoulders. I like to place the right hand on top of that left knee. Now if you have a big cushion, that might feel good underneath the knee, in between the knee. Prioritize having both of your shoulders down, so don't worry if the knees are really not near the floor. Some people might like to twist over the top leg into twisted roots or cross it twice into twisted roots. You can also have the bottom leg long if that works for you, or cat pull tail where you grab that left foot. This might feel quite intense. It is a yin posture, but maybe today's not the day for that. You don't need to push yourself. And once you've set up that posture and done all you need to do, then that's it. You've done your twist. It's not about effort anymore. And even though it's called a twist, I like to think of it being more about untwisting. And that's just by letting go, surrendering. Some days when I'm doing yin can feel much harder than others to relax. My body doesn't like it, my mind is fighting it. On those days I find choosing a mantra, something that you just say over and over in your head. So maybe as you breathe in, you say let go, and as you breathe out, you say surrender. You can also try different breathing techniques. like an equal breath. So the breath, the inhalation maybe to 3 or 4, the exhalation to 3 or 4. Triangle breathing, where you hold the breath, or box breathing, where you hold the breath in and the breath out. See if you can soften all the muscles of the face, the throat, heavy into the shoulders, let the belly release. And your head can look the opposite way to your knees, like I'm doing, or if that feels like it's tensing up your neck, just look up to the ceiling, even looking the same way as the knees if that's what you want to do. I'm going to do about another 45 seconds here, where I'm going to again give you a bit of silence so you can focus in on one of the disciplines we've talked about. About 5 last breaths here. Focusing on one specific part of your body. Maybe it's the shoulders, the spine, the glutes, maybe even the facial muscles. See if you can soften them on these last few breaths. And then when you're releasing that last breath, softly just relaxing back onto your back, letting the arms stretch and the legs stretch. So we've been quite soft for ages. See if you can allow a little bit of activation. So flexion in the feet, reaching with the fingertips, maybe even letting the chest expand upwards a little bit. And then from here, bringing the knees in towards you, giving yourself any little bit of movement that feels good. Any tension in the neck, it might feel nice just to let the head rock side to side. Maybe little circles with the lower back feels good. Before we go to that second side with the twist, we're just going to allow our lower back to neutralize and recover. So taking your feet to about the width of the mat and then letting the knees fall in towards each other. So the weight of both hips, the weight of both legs is taken by the other leg. You don't need to hold any tension. They're relaxing on each other. With your arms, you can try anything you like. So if that cactus felt like it was really working for you, especially if you've been sat at a desk all day, maybe reaching your arms over the top of your head. If you've been struggling with focus, maybe you could put your first finger and thumb together in a little pinch and focus in on that area specifically. You could also place, again, one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. So this might feel super subtle. You might feel a little bit on the outside of the hips. The main aim of this is to keep you relaxing more, neutralize that lower back, and you don't need to think of anything for that, it's just happening. And whenever I'm in a simple posture like this, I always find it nice just to, good a time as any, to realize you're going to be okay, whatever it is, whatever today's brought you, hasn't brought you, it's going to be fine. Whatever you're worried about probably isn't going to happen. Whatever stress you've been putting on yourself, could you just let it go just a little bit? Maybe that feels like a vibration that's running through your body. Maybe you can think of that vibration increasing, that feeling of joy, calm, happiness. Maybe even if a smile came across your face. Is there a warmth that you're feeling through your body now that you can increase? It feels like a little bit of an energetic and spiritual hug that you're allowing yourself to have. And even if I don't know you, you deserve that. Everyone deserves that moment, or hundreds of thousands of moments where you just feel that. Taking one more breath here in this recovery pose. And lovely, just releasing back to having the knees coming in towards you, giving yourself a little bit of movement if that feels good. From here, we're going to then go into our second side with our twist. So you can just go ahead as you did before on the first side. I'm going to also show you another way that you can get into the twist. So having your feet flat on the floor, you can lift your hips up slightly and over to the right hand side. Then let the knees fall over to the left. Yeah? So any variation of a twist to the left. Again, you could be doing twisted roots where you cross the leg, or twisted roots. You can extend the bottom leg if you want. You could also bend the bottom leg into that cat paw tail. That's going to work into the thigh as well as the spine and the hip. I'm coming for the easiest version ever. I like to put my left hand on top of my right hand just to encourage more of a twist. But I am not trying to show off here. I'm not trying to go to anywhere more than 60% of what I could do. And you can let your head fall the opposite way to your knees, or anywhere that the neck feels like it can relax. Can you relax any tension you might be feeling in your hands? Prioritize having both of the shoulders relaxed. Soften in the belly, the face. In this last posture, I'm just going to take you through another way that you can be in the present moment, or learn to love the discipline of getting into the present moment. So first of all, what's the temperature like in your room that you're in? Can you feel a difference in the temperature to your skin? Is there a part of your body that feels warmer? Is there a part that feels a bit chillier? And if you just swallow the saliva in your mouth, allowing yourself to connect in with taste, often not really used to bring us into the present, but can be helpful. And then taking a nice deep breath in through your nose. What are the scents in the room? Maybe you've put on a candle or incense, or maybe it's just your standard room. Is there a mix of smells? Can you smell food? Can you feel the touch of your clothes against your skin? And then once again, I'm going to be quiet for a little bit of time so you can connect in with music. Or even it's the sounds outside the room as well. There are no good sounds or bad sounds. Just allow yourself to hear without judgment. Three last breaths here in this twist. I want you to breathe into every cell in your body. And as you release tension from every cell. And then when you're ready, again, slowly relaxing onto your back. So we're going to go into our Shavasana in a second, but we're just going to finish with a little legs up in the air. If you wanted to, you could do this up against the wall, and you can stay there for as long as 15 minutes, and maybe you want to find a playlist or just put your timer on. You might feel after a while a bit of tingling sensation, and that's just the lactic acid, the blood flow movement as well. But from here, this might feel quite heavy in the legs for some of you. We're not going to be here for long unless you've chosen to have your legs up the wall, then go for it. And we've been going into Shavasana, so maybe you want to find a bit of extra comfort or a blanket. And as I said, if you want to give yourself kind of 10 minutes or so, find a track that you love or just some soundscapes. Maybe silence works for you today, or maybe just hearing what's around you, the sounds of nature, the sounds of life. So when you're ready, just allowing the legs to release down. So letting the feet flop open. You can come with your palms next to your body facing up. If you found anything else useful, you can go for that. So maybe that connection in with your heartbeat and your breath. Maybe you felt like you were just getting into opening up your shoulders and cactus feels nice. Whenever I start Shavasana, I like to think of a real discipline for the first minute. So you can pick a random high number and say, I'm breathing in for 53. I'm breathing out for 53. I'm breathing in for 52. Or maybe your discipline is scanning through your body. It's just a minute. Just think of a minute of real discipline and focus. And then after that, let yourself enjoy wherever it takes you. Allow yourself to fully relax. I hope you've enjoyed this yin practice. Give yourself this time whenever you need to.